something's happened and you've screwed up. You're afraid to tell anybody about it. You're afraid of what they're going to think about you. You're terrified that they're going to sit there and say, well, we shouldn't have hired him and we should just get rid of him. And so you find a scapegoat. You make up an excuse. You say it was somebody else's fault. And you hope somebody else is just going to take it off your plate. Does this sound familiar to you? I've been in this situation many times. Very recently, while I was in charge of getting a release together for an app that I'm working on. And at one point, I realized that some code did not make it into the build that we were about ready to send to our testers. And this code was very much needed. It solved a lot of bugs, and we were going to end up having to put it in anyway. Well, we need to get these builds together because we had a deadline. Our deadline was the end of the day because it was the right before the weekend, and our testers were going to test over the weekend. And so what happened? What did I do? Well, did I make excuses? Did I say it was somebody else's fault? Did I sit there and say, oh, well, point the finger, they were the ones who were at fault, they should be the ones to fix it? Did I not know what to do? Did I just throw up my hands and say, oh, I don't know what to do, somebody else, your fault? Nah. I took action. I set up a branch to get the code into the build. I got the code together. I grabbed some people to review it for me. It was very simple code. It was a couple quick lines. So it's easy for them to go and very quickly and easily review and say, yep, good to go. I grabbed a tester to make sure that, hey, we're good. We're going to be putting it in. Good to go. And merged it, created the build, and that was it. Took all of probably 3 hours, which is a lot, but it wasn't too bad. And all throughout this whole process, I was communicating and telling people everything that was going on. So what can you do when you're faced with a similar situation? Taking my actions and hopefully helping you learn from them and understand what you are going to want to have to do. So the first thing that you need to be doing and need to make sure that you do is you take responsibility. You sit there and say, all right, well, I'm in charge. I screwed up. I need to take it. I need to take the fall for this. This is very important because once you realize that, hey, you're the one who's in charge, you're the one who's responsible for what happened, then you are able to realize, oh, okay, well, then I'm the one who needs to take action to fix it. And I'm the one who needs to take action to solve it. And that was big. And that was the first thing that I did. Instead of sitting there trying to make up excuses, because it would have been very easy for me to point the fingers at somebody else and say, well, they were the ones who did it. Because I wasn't the one who forgot the code. I really wasn't. It was somebody else. But that didn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was somebody else who was screwing up. It doesn't matter if it was not your fault, that it was just something that somebody missed elsewhere. No, what matters is, in this case, getting a build together so that our testers could test the code. So I took responsibility, and you should too. Because like I said, once you take responsibility and you realize, oh, well, I'm the one in charge, I'm the one who needs to fix this, it's easy enough to fix then. Next, you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do to solve this issue? What do I need to do to get us where we need to be? It's not hard most of the time. It's actually pretty easy. It's, for me, in this case, it was, okay, this is the code that I need. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull in the code into a branch, create a pull request, and then set up the reviews and everything. Sometimes, though, you don't necessarily know the right answer and you don't know the steps that you need to take, in which case, that's when you need to sit there and say, hey, I screwed up. I need help. Can someone help me figure out what steps I need to take? And that's very important because, as you'll see in the next one, communication is huge. Next step, that is. But most of the time, you actually do know what you need to do. And you just need to be able to take the courage. You need to be able to have the fortitude to be able to sit there and say, all right, these are the steps that we are going to take to remedy this situation. And that's why what I tell you in step 1, take responsibility. Because once you take responsibility, then you have that courage, you have that fortitude. And then you can sit there and say, these are the steps that we are going to take. And that leads into the next step. You communicate. See, once I figured out, hey, we had an issue, I told everybody, this is our issue. But I didn't just tell them, hey, we have this issue. I sat and said, okay, this is our issue. What are the steps that we need to take? So that when I did go and tell people, I said, hey, we messed up here. I messed up. These are the steps that we need to take to get this situation resolved. Okay? The reason why we communicate this is, especially the steps and the options that we are taking to resolve the issue, is so that we can get feedback from others and say, yes, you are on the right track, or no, you need to take this into account, or no, at step whatever you're talking about, you need to try this instead. It also can, when you communicate this to people, people then know, okay, there is a problem. And it also tells them there is a problem, but you know what you're doing to remedy the solution. And that is very important. Because if you don't know and don't provide, hey, these are the steps to remedy the solution, they're just going to look at you like, okay, I don't care. I don't want to trust them with anything anymore. All they do is complain. All they do is say, well, I screwed up. And I don't do anything. They don't do anything they say. So you need to make sure that you are communicating and constantly communicating what you are doing. So, for example, in my situation, every time I completed a step, I said, hey, this step got completed. These are the people who are going to review the code. Hey, these people have finished reviewing the code. This is the person who's going to test the code. Hey, the code got merged in. We are now in the process of getting a build together. Hey, the build is together, and I'm sending it over to our testers. Okay? So you see, step by step, each thing, I'm constantly communicating what's going on so people know what's going on and can make other people aware as they need, and then they're comfortable and confident that I know what I'm doing and I know what needs to be done. Then finally, once you take responsibility, you have all of your steps together, and you're communicating, these are the steps that we are taking or we are going to take, then you execute. Like this last one should be the easiest one. Once you know the steps and know everything that you need to do, you just need to do it. And that's big. So once you have everything, just do it. And like I said, keep in constant communication of this is what we are doing, this is the step we are on, this is where we're going. Okay? So whenever you are faced with a situation where something gets screwed up, or you mess something up, or you discover something that got messed up, don't just throw up your hands and move on. No. Instead, sit there, take responsibility, and sit there and say, hey, this got screwed up and it needs to be fixed. These are the steps that I'm going to take to fix it. Or if you don't know them, or you aren't really quite sure, reach out to somebody who you know is going to know and say, hey, I don't know these steps. What would you suggest? Okay. Once you have the steps, communicate that, hey, communicate with the team, communicate with everybody and say, hey, this got screwed up. These are the steps that we're going to take to remedy the situation. And then finally, execute, move forward and do it all and succinct. And move forward and do it all as you have planned. Okay. I hope these steps help. I hope this helped you remedy situations in which you find problems in the future. If you really enjoyed this and you think that this is going to help somebody else, please share this video with somebody. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to know when I'm going to be posting videos again. And otherwise, hit that like button so that it feeds the algorithm, and we will see you next time.